This is Grant Loves Books. Today I want to tell you about my favorite Canadian novel. And I don't like to use the word favorite because it's changing. As we grow older, our tastes become more refined. But for the last 10 years at least, whenever I want to recommend to someone to read some Canadian literature, there's only one book I ever recommend every single time, without question. There's one novel that I say, this is the acme of Canadian literature, and it is this novel. Margaret Laurence, The Stone Angel, published in 1964. It is the story of a 90-year-old woman named Hagar Shipley who is reflecting on her life. And the story begins with this elderly woman smoking a cigarette and thinking about how she started smoking 10 years ago at the age of 80, and that she's living with her son and his wife, who are trying to gently persuade her to move to an old person's home. And we come to know that one of the reasons she started smoking was to annoy this son who allows her to live with them. And here is the Stone Angel. This old woman, Hagar, unbearably stubborn. She makes a decision, and even though she is aware or other people are not going to be pleased with this decision, she feels compelled out of her obstinacy to move forward with this decision, regardless of the consequence, even for her own self, even though she is aware that this is a poor decision, but she's made it and she will move forward with it relentlessly, like with the smoking. And that is the entire novel of The Stone Angel, a very difficult old woman reflecting on her life of decisions like this and how they have led her to be living with her second son. So I want to tell you a little bit about my connection with this novel. I first was made to read this book when I was in grade 12 as a high school student, when I believe I was about 17 years old. Imagine that, a classroom of 17-year-olds who are supposed to be reading about the story of this 90-year-old woman, and she's very unpleasant. She's not a woman who we remember fondly. We remember more with a sly grimace, like, yeah, that woman was a terror. But that's why the book is genius. Anyway, so that was the first time I had to read the book. I had to read it as a high school student, and of course I didn't like it. So we skip ahead about 10 years later. I've left Canada and I'm living in Budapest, Hungary, and I am just absolutely desperate for reading material. Like I am searching high and low, and I was quite new in Budapest, so I didn't know the locations of the used bookstores. Eventually, I found the British Council. It is a language school and library that was located on, where was it? It was on Bajza utca, and they had a library there. The British Council Library only stocked British novels and books from the Commonwealth. First of all, I went back and I read all of those books that I didn't really pay attention to in high school. Was struck by how incredible The Stone Angel is. The Stone Angel is the most resonant novel I have ever read. Now, hopefully we've gone beyond the mark where most people have stopped watching the video, because I want to make an admission which is very hard for me to make because I am such a goddamn tough guy. This is really hard for me to say, that there are two books which I've read the most: As I Lay Dying and The Stone Angel. Both of these novels I've read 5 times. The Stone Angel, not including the time I read it in high school, the 4 times since then, every time I get to the end of the novel, it makes me cry. It is a physical reaction that I cannot resist. something inside me begins to tremble and the tears begin flowing out of my eyes uncontrollably. It is unbelievable, and there's a reason for this. An old woman is like, she's fierce in her determination. That's what makes her so stubborn. She is crying out that I have been alive. I have been here on this earth. And even though my life has been filled with a host of mistakes, my life is meaningful to me. There has been substance. There has been me. There has been all of the choices and the emotions and the tragedy I have lived. And it is nearly over. My life matters, even though it may not have influenced anything. It has been my life. Like, please take notice. It is too sweet and it is too heartbreaking. Every single time I read the book, it's just like it reaches into my chest and rips my heart out and says, there it is. There is the sweetest example of human pathos that you will ever see on the written page. It's the greatest Canadian literature I can recommend to anyone. So there you are. That's my feelings about The Stone Angel. I don't want to give too much away. This novel is actually the first novel in a series which is called the Manawaka Series. See, Margaret Laurence, she was born and she lived the first 18 years of her life in a very tiny Canadian town. I think in 2016 there was a population of 4,500. Like, if you go to Google Maps and you look at it and you just keep pulling back and keep pulling back until you actually find something that you recognize. It's amazing. This is the first one in the Manawaka series, The Stone Angel, and then there are 4 more. There is the novel called The Jest of God. That one is very, very sad and not as good as The Stone Angel. Not as satisfying, not as good for me. There's another one called The Fire Dwellers. And then there is A Bird in the House, which is actually a collection of short stories, although they are related short stories. And the final one, The Diviners. A lot of people consider The Diviners to be the best one of this series. I like The Stone Angel, but other people consider The Diviners. It's not like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These novels are related in the fact that all 5 of the main characters, all women, come from this small town called Manawaka. And you could see references to the other women in the books, but I don't think you should really be looking for that for this kind of a fun little, there you are, like as a little nod to one of her earlier novels. So the Manawaka series, it's just tremendous. For me, I would put that right at the top of Canadian literature without hesitation. There are other books that I love, there are other series that I enjoy, but for me, this is the best. So I have this box set that I bought. It's a little bit battered and it's faded and it's a little bit old, but the books are pristine. I mean, the book is, it's really new. It's, everything is new, it's sharp. It just hasn't been touched. I don't like it when books become too precious to read, and it annoys me a little bit that I have them on the shelf as ornamentation. I want to read my books. I feel a little bit badly that I kind of destroy my books a little bit as I'm reading them because I often read them in the bath. But this collection, I feel, is too special for me to read because all of the books are so perfect condition, and it's this nice little box set. So if anyone out there wants to buy it from me, I will sell it to you, but hopefully you live in the New Westminster area so I could just deliver it to your house, because mailing it would be very, very, very expensive. But if you're willing to pay for it, I'll mail it to you. So if you would like to buy this box set of these 5 books, let me know. I'll My email address is down there, and you can write to me and let me. And I think for this collection, I will ask 50 Canadian dollars. So you figure that out in whatever currency you're working with. You know, if you're in Ukraine and you want to know how much that is in karbovanets, we'll work it out in karbovanets, and then I'll mail it off to Kiev. Fancy. This is now 1 month since I started the whole YouTube program, and about a week after I started, I had a crisis of confidence, I guess you would call it, that it's amazing this didn't happen before, you know, and that's why I'm not a very smart person. That it was only after I had put in all the work and bought the camera and bought the computer that I realized I would like to make a YouTube channel about highbrow literature. Not very many people are interested, and not only do I want to talk about highbrow literature, like I might get 1,000 clicks because I do something about The Great Gatsby, or I might get tens of thousands of clicks because I'm talking about The Sun Also Rises. No. I want to make a YouTube video about obscure highbrow literature. That's my good idea. I've been doing this for a month, and I would like to say thank you to the people who have subscribed. I would like to say thank you to the people who've been watching my videos. Thank you very much to all the people who have left me comments, especially on Reddit. A lot of people on Reddit have been responding to my videos, and that, you know, surprising, because I was never really on Reddit. I thought I would do it all by Facebook, and then I started to dabble in the Reddit world, which has been kind of fun. All of it. It's been fun the whole time. Please like the video, please subscribe, please check me out on Patreon if you want to support me with a little money. If you're interested in buying this collection, please send me an email down below, all the la. Okay, all right, have a great day. Thank you very much, everybody. Oh, for Christ's sake.